You know that feeling when the phone goes and your stomach tightens before you even answer it? Or when your card suddenly will not work and you wonder what on earth you have done wrong? Or when someone says your money is at risk and you feel foolish for not seeing it sooner? That is the moment this video is really about, because far too many decent people have lived it. And if you like calm, plain English videos that help you stay one step ahead without all the fuss, do consider subscribing and staying close to the channel, because these are the sorts of changes that often arrive quietly, and by the time most people hear about them, somebody has already lost money they spent a lifetime building. Now, when I say banks are now banning this for UK pensioners, I do not mean every bank, every case, every customer all at once. What I mean is this: more banks are stopping, delaying, blocking, or flatly refusing certain payments and banking actions when they think a customer may be under pressure, being scammed, or moving money in a way that looks dangerous. And the central theme all the way through this is very simple. A pause is not a punishment. A delay is not always a problem. Quite often, the pause is the protection. That is the part many older people miss, because if you grew up in a world where your money was your business alone, a bank stepping in can feel rude, insulting, even controlling. But that pause may be the very thing that saves your pension pot, your savings, and your peace of mind. The first thing to understand is the rushed transfer to a brand new payee. That is one of the biggest things banks now watch like hawks. You get a call, the caller sounds official, they say your account has been compromised, or your computer has been hacked, or your grandson is in trouble, or HMRC needs urgent action. Suddenly you are being told to move money now while you are still frightened. Here is the rule underneath that moment. A bank may hold, block, or challenge a payment to a new account if it does not fit your usual behavior, especially if the amount is large or the story around it smells wrong. The old scam line about a safe account still catches good people, but there is no special safe account your bank needs you to move money into because of an unexpected call. The phrase I want you to remember is this: I do not move money because of an unexpected call. I will hang up and ring back on the number on my card. That sentence is gold. It slows the moment down. It gets you out of the scammer's timing and back into your own. And timing matters more than people realize, because criminals do not just steal money. They borrow your panic and use it against you. If a bank blocks that payment, do not hear insult, hear interruption. The bank is not saying you are silly. It is saying this payment looks unlike you, and unlike you is often where the danger sits. That is why the pause matters. The central theme returns again right here. When money is pushed to move fast, your best protection is often a system that refuses to move at the same speed. So if that sort of plain speaking helps settle the noise a bit, you might want to subscribe now, because this channel is really for people who would rather understand the trap before standing in it. And that first trap is simple. Any transfer made in fear is a transfer that deserves a proper pause before a single pound leaves your account. The second thing banks are becoming much stricter about is somebody else hovering over your shoulder while you bank. It may be a stranger on the phone telling you what buttons to press. It may be someone who says they need remote access to your computer to fix a problem. It may even be a person you know slightly who offers to help you log in because the system looks confusing. Banks and fraud teams know that once another person can see your screen, guide your hand, or control your device, the chance of abuse rises sharply. That is why some accounts get flagged when a login, device, pattern, or payment trail looks odd. Sometimes the customer says, "But I chose to do it." Yes, maybe. But if the choice was made under pressure, confusion, or false information, it is not the free and informed choice it looked like from the outside. There is an important exception here, and it matters for older viewers. Real help exists, but it needs proper structure. If you genuinely need somebody to help with money, that is where a formal setup such as a power of attorney can matter. In simple terms, that is a legal arrangement allowing a trusted person to act properly on your behalf, rather than borrowing your card, your PIN, or your password. So the phrase to write down for this second risk is just as plain. No one gets remote access to my banking, and no one uses my card and PIN for me. If you need support, build it properly. Do not build it casually. A casual shortcut can become a quiet disaster, and once a bank sees strange control around an account, it may step in hard and fast to protect what is left. If you know somebody who gets flustered by passwords, apps, and security codes, it may be worth subscribing for them as much as for yourself, because this is where many decent families drift into bad habits without realizing it. The second point is not really about technology, it is about dignity. Proper help protects your independence. Improper help slowly hands it away. The third thing is cash, branch withdrawals, and strange urgent purchases. Many people still feel cash is safer because it is visible, touchable, and under their control. I understand that completely, but branch staff are now trained to spot warning signs. If somebody comes in anxious, rushed, confused, or asking for a large amount for an unusual reason, questions may follow, and sometimes money is refused. You might hear stories like these. A man says he needs £10,000 today because a builder needs it before work can begin. A woman says she must buy gift cards for a problem with her tax. Another person says a courier is coming to collect cash to help a police investigation. To older ears, some of that sounds absurd when said slowly, but in the heat of the moment, fear makes strange things feel normal, especially when the caller sounds official and keeps you on the line. Let me give you a person you can picture. Sheila is 68, widowed, careful with money, and proud of never asking anyone for help. One Tuesday morning, she gets a call saying there has been fraud on her account and her money must be moved for safety. By lunchtime, she is in a branch, hands shaking slightly, asking for £12,000 in cash. The cashier asks 3 extra questions. Sheila feels offended at first. She says it is her own money. The cashier stays calm and asks who told her to withdraw it. Sheila repeats the story out loud, and in the very act of hearing herself say it, the whole thing starts to wobble. There is no safe box. There is no police collection. There is only pressure, secrecy, and urgency dressed up as authority. The relief phrase here is wonderfully simple. I need time to think, and I do not make same-day cash decisions under pressure. That one line would have saved many people from terrible losses. In Sheila's case, the branch delayed the withdrawal. A relative was called, the scam was exposed, and the money stayed where it belonged. The pause felt awkward for half an hour, and then it felt like mercy. If stories like Sheila's make you think of a neighbor, a brother, or perhaps a future version of yourself, stay with the channel and subscribe, because a lot of financial protection is not cleverness at all. It is learning to recognize the moment when your emotions are being used as a payment method. That is what the third point comes down to. The fourth thing banks are now far more wary of is investment-style transfers that look unusual, especially where crypto, online trading platforms, or sudden pension opportunity adverts are involved. Crypto simply means digital assets that exist online rather than as cash or shares in the ordinary sense. Some banks restrict payments to certain crypto platforms altogether, and others put extra barriers in the way. Why does this matter so much for older adults? Because many scams now wear the clothes of investing. They do not always ask for your bank details straight away. They begin with a polished advert, a celebrity face, a fake news article, or a smooth account manager who sounds patient and clever. Before long, a retired person thinks they are topping up income, when in truth they are walking money into a tunnel with no light at the other end. The rule is simple. If the return sounds steady, high, and easy at the same time, slow down. Real investing carries risk, and honest people say so. Fraudsters talk about certainty, speed, and private opportunities. They flatter you. They thank you for acting quickly. They tell you not to miss out. That is not financial care. That is emotional bait with a dashboard attached to it. The phrase to keep in your pocket here is this: show me the Financial Conduct Authority register. That is the official register for firms that are allowed to provide certain financial services in the UK. Even that is not the whole answer, but it is a strong first filter. And if your bank blocks a payment towards something that looks like a risky platform, do not assume the bank is behind the times. It may have seen this story end badly for other customers already. The central theme comes back again. A blocked payment can feel like a door closing in your face, but sometimes it is a door closing between your life savings and somebody who has learned how to dress theft up as modern investing. If you prefer plain words over shiny promises, you may find this channel useful in the months ahead, so do subscribe if you want these warnings before the adverts find you. The fifth thing to understand is that not every blocked payment means a scam is definitely happening. Sometimes banks react to patterns rather than certainty. A new phone, a new laptop, a login from a different place, a sudden large transfer to help an adult child, or a payment bigger than your usual monthly spending can all trigger checks. For ordinary people, that can feel maddening, but it is not random. Think of a man in his early 70s helping his daughter with a house deposit. He has never sent that much money online before. He is using a new tablet. He has changed his password twice because he cannot remember which one worked. From the bank's side, that may look very close to fraud behavior. From his side, it looks like family life. That gap between those two views is where many stressful phone calls begin. So the practical relief here is preparation. If you know a large, genuine payment is coming, speak to the bank beforehand if possible. Confirm the account details slowly. Read them back. Do not accept changed bank details from an email alone. If a builder, solicitor, or family member suddenly says the bank details have changed, pause and verify using an old trusted number, not the fresh message that brought the change. And there is another phrase worth keeping: I am happy to wait until this is verified properly. That one line saves you from feeling forced to prove anything in a rush. A lot of trouble begins when a decent person feels embarrassed and tries to push through a warning instead of respecting it. Again, the theme is the same. The pause is not your enemy. The pause is often the guard at the gate. If this is the sort of practical calm you wish somebody had given you years ago, that is really why this channel exists, and you are very welcome to subscribe and keep coming back. Money problems later in life are rarely caused by lack of effort. More often they come from one rushed afternoon, one false voice, or one detail checked too late. That is the fifth point in a sentence. The sixth and final thing is what to do when the bank stops you, challenges you, freezes something, or makes you feel as if your own money has suddenly become awkward to reach. First, do not storm ahead in anger if you can help it. I know that is easier said than done, but the more calm you stay, the more clearly you can separate an inconvenience from a real emergency. Ask very plain questions. Is this a fraud check, a security check, or a policy restriction? What exactly triggered it? What can I do next? Is there a safe route to make a genuine payment? Can this be noted on my account? Can I speak to the fraud team directly? You do not need fancy language. You just need calm, clear questions that slow the conversation down and make the bank show it's working. This is also where a simple home routine can help more than most people realize. Keep a notebook near where you deal with money, not full of passwords, of course, but full of rules. Never move money because of an unexpected call. Never read out a one-time code unless I started the transaction myself. Never act on changed bank details without checking. Never let urgency make the decision for me. If you want, add one more line to that notebook. If I feel rushed, I stop. Those 6 words are small, but they are powerful. Older age brings many pressures: helping family, managing rising bills, thinking about care, sorting pensions, dealing with grief. None of that means you are weak. It means you are human, and human beings need systems when emotions are running ahead of judgment. And if you have stayed with me this far, perhaps subscribe now in a quiet sort of way, because this channel is really a standing reminder that protecting money is not only about maths, it is about habits, language, and knowing which moments deserve a full stop instead of a quick yes. That is what the 6th point is trying to leave in your hands. Before we close, I want to say something that matters to many viewers over 55. If a bank blocks something and you are genuinely trying to manage life sensibly, that does not mean you have lost control. In fact, one of the strongest things you can do is build proper support around yourself early. That may mean a trusted family conversation, a legal arrangement where needed, and fewer hidden worries. And if somebody comes to mind as you listen to this, perhaps an older parent, a widowed neighbor, a brother who trusts every caller, or a friend who still thinks a polite voice must be an honest one, do send this video to them. Not as a warning from on high, just as a small act of care. Sometimes the kindest thing we do for each other is pass on a sentence in time. Because the truth beneath today's title is not really that banks are banning pensioners from doing things, it is that modern fraud has become faster, colder, and more professional, and banks are reacting by putting more friction into risky moments. Friction is annoying when you are in a hurry, but friction is also what stops a car skidding straight through a bend. Without it, everything moves too quickly to stay safe. So let me leave you with one simple picture. Think of your savings, your pension, and your bank account as a house you spent decades building. You laid one brick at a time: early mornings, late shifts, bills paid, holidays skipped, worries carried quietly. The house may not look grand from the road, but every brick has your life in it. Now imagine a stranger turns up at the gate and says there is danger inside, so you must throw the keys out to them at once. That is what many scams really are. A voice outside the gate creating panic so that you open up your own safe place with your own hands. In that moment, a bank delay, a blocked payment, a branch question, even an annoying phone check can be the latch holding firm. And that is why the pause matters so much. Not because the bank knows your life better than you do, but because a good pause gives truth time to catch up with fear. Keep your rules close. Keep your pace steady. Your money should move when you are clear, not when somebody else is urgent. You have worked too hard for your house to hand the keys through the gate in a moment of noise. Better a brief delay and a bruised feeling than a silent account and years of regret. Stay steady, stay unhurried, and let the pause do its job.